All right, I know you've seen them. These crosses, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're all over YouTube. Everybody seems to be wanting to make a cross. Now, there's a lot of really nice designs out there, but you ain't never seen a NuKraft workshop design. So, you ready? Let's go. So today we are making our version of these crosses that are floating all over social media. Now, I tend to do a lot of rustic projects here at NuKraft Workshop. It's kind of the style that I like to make, and it's kind of the style I have found that people like to buy. So you can always take our designs, elevate them. You can do this a million different ways. We're using some pallet wood and some spare plywood I've got lying around the shop. If you want to elevate this, make this thing out of some nicer material. You can use some maple for your back, walnut for your front, vice versa. You can really dress this thing up, put you a nice finish on it, chamfer your edges, etc. As always on this channel, I'm going to make something today and then I'm going to tell you to make it your own. I'm going to give you the basic blueprints and then you're going to get out in your shop and you're going to customize that. So that being said, normally what I do on these videos is I give you a cut list, and then I give you a tool list. Today you're not getting a cut list and I'll tell you why. Don't go like this and boo already. I'll tell you why, because sometimes out in your shop, you just need to get creative. I literally thought today, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make some of these crosses and I've got a ton of pallet wood. I've got tons of spare plywood. And I was like, look, let's just make some out of some scraps lying around the shop. So that's what I did. I measured my stuff out, but get creative. Cut your stuff. Good rule of thumb with the cross is a 2-to-3 ratio. Two wide, 3 tall. So if you're using, let's just say 6-inch, you're going to do 12 by 18. If you're using 4-inch, you'll do 8 by 12. That's a really good rule of thumb to get your cross proportionate and looking right. So let's get right into today's video and I'll walk you through what I'm doing and then we'll take a look at this thing at the very end. All right, so the first thing I'm doing is I'm grabbing some of my pallet wood and some of my scrap plywood that I've got around my shop. I have a really cool company here locally that gives me some pallet wood for free. And if you've never used pallet wood in your projects, start doing so. They make awesome projects. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run over to the table saw and I'm going to get everything cut to length and ripped to width. Now, for my particular cross, all of my components that are going to make up the cross are going to be 2 inches wide a piece, giving us a 4-inch wide finished arm of our cross. You'll see what I mean when it comes together. And then I need my pieces for the side. I'm going to make those 1 3/4 of an inch wide. That's going to make up our frame around our plywood. Now, one of the most important things when you are using pallet wood is to make sure under no circumstance is there a nail in the way of your blade. Now, I am simply cutting off all of my nails, but I have ran a magnet over the rest of my wood to make sure that the only metal in this pallet wood are the nails that I can see. You don't want anything metal getting caught in your blade. Extremely dangerous, and it is no fun because, you know, not only is it dangerous, you're gonna have to replace your blade after you hit something like that. So we're gonna get all this stuff ripped, cut to length, and then we'll head back over to the workbench and get this thing assembled. Now, when we are cutting our material for our crosses, the way I'm going to create this intersection in the middle is going to require that all of our components have a 45-degree angle on them. So what we want is our 45-degree angle to go away from this. So we're going to put 2 of these together, and we don't want our freshly cut side exposed. It's going to take away some of the rustic charm. So when we cut this, we want to cut our slope away from this. We want the freshly cut side to be our longer side and the rough side to be where your short side of your cut is going to be. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's get back at it. All right, we're back from the table saw. We have everything ripped to width. We have all of our 45s cut. It's time to get this thing assembled. And the first thing I'm gonna do is simply lay out my lines. Now, my material that I cut is 12 by 16, and I know that I told you at the beginning to do 2 by 3. I wanted to take a little bit off the length of this to kind of give this a little chunkier look. I hope that's a good word to describe what we're going for here. But by cutting a little bit off of that bottom leg and making these pieces a little fatter, it's going to give it less of a traditional church look and more of a rustic look, and that's kind of what we're going for. So I'm just going to come down and I'm going to find my center of my board, which is 6 inches for my vertical line. I'm also going to come down 6 inches from the top and draw my horizontal line. The remaining length from my intersection down is going to be the base of the cross. And the way this thing is going to come together is we're going to lay our cut boards down on our lines with our 245 cuts coming together to make a point. Let's head over here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see right here, we've got our 45-degree angles. We want to put our boards together and create this peak. Those 4 are going to come together and create our intersection. Now this is why it was extremely important that we leave our rough side out, so that when this comes together, we don't see that freshly cut side, which is going to take away some of that rustic charm. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. I am putting Titebond 3 because I'm not sure if this is going to hang on the patio or not, but I'm using Titebond 3 just to make sure. We are going to put a little glue on the back, line this up with our line, as well as making sure our point lines up right on that intersection where our pencil line is. I'm going to brad this in place with a couple of brads from the top. I do not care that the brads are exposed because this is a rustic piece that we're making. And then once we get this first piece laid down, if all of your miters are true 45s, it's going to be really easy to work your way around this by just simply lining up your next miter to your next one and rotating around. Just use your lines for guide just in case your cuts are a little bit off. But once we get all of these 8 pieces tacked down to our board, you'll notice that they are oversized. I cut them that way on purpose. I am actually going to run this back over to my table saw and cut this to final dimensions so that I know that the edges of the cross are lined up exactly with the edges of the plywood. All right, our basic cross on our back material is formed. Now all we got to do left is we got to just put our sides on. I'm not mitering these joints. I'm using simple butt joints. That does mean that 2 of the boards are going to have exposed fresh cuts. If you don't like the way that looks, stain them, roughen them up, just kind of make them look rustic if you want it to kind of blend in. But all we're going to do here is we're just going to take our 4 pieces that we cut, once again oversized. We're going to line up our 2 side pieces, put a pencil mark on there. We're going to cut those first, and then we're going to overlap our top piece over our bottom piece. And this is that fresh edge I was telling you about. If you don't like that, clean that up with, well, actually dirty it up, roughen it up, hit it with some stain, make it look a little bit rustic. But we're just doing simple butt joints in the corner. I just cut my side pieces first so that I could stack my top and bottom on there to create the joint. And that's it. My take on the cross everybody's making. Yes, this is a very simple build. I literally built this in 15 or 20 minutes. This is something you can get out in your shop and knock out. Now, Are you concerned about bare plywood outside? Yeah, I would be, but I'm gonna throw a couple coats of polyurethane on this, and our edges, which are the most important part of our plywood, are pretty much covered up with some glue and some material. If you don't feel comfortable putting something like this outside, make it out of a different type of material. Like I said, use some maple on the back if you want to do it that way. Or if you're planning on hanging this inside, plywood is the way to go. If you're like me, you got a ton of it around the shop. So simple build today, but endless possibilities of what you can do for this. So a couple quick things before we go. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys that have gotten us where we are so far. If you have not already, take a minute and click that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. We pop up at least one video a week, sometimes two if I'm feeling frisky and getting out in my shop regularly. Also, give us a thumbs up for the video, and most importantly, please leave us a comment. It takes a second or two out of your day to tell us what you thought of our video, and it really helps the algorithm. YouTube's algorithm changed in 2026, and I'm still trying to figure it out, and I'm not doing a very good job, but comments always help. Down in the description, there's a couple links. Facebook group, bing! Join the Facebook group because it's really cool. People are sharing their takes on our projects, showing me things that they're building, and I'm gonna steal and show you guys how to build in future videos, learning from each other, teaching each other, offering tips and tricks, etc. Join our Facebook group. Also down below, there's a link to our Amazon storefront. Please do me a favor. Any and every time you shop on Amazon, click that link. It gets you to Amazon. Do your shopping as normal. You don't have to do anything special. You help out our channel, helps us grow a little bit, bringing our beginners content to more and more people just like you. So, that's all I got. As always, appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me here at NuKraft Workshop, and I will catch you guys on YouTube.